What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy Wormy. And before we get into the story, I do want to tell you I was a massive fan of Percy Jackson and the Olympians and that whole saga growing up as a kid. I continued reading it well into the sequel series that came out. I can't remember what the name was. I only read that one once, but I honestly read all 5 books over and over and over again. I loved this series growing up. I loved it. I cared for it. I thought it was a fantastic, decent series. I did read Harry Potter, but it was never something that actually interested me. I viewed Percy Jackson as this perfect starting off point that a lot of geeks end up having. You know, this era when they really get into Greek mythology, Roman mythology, mythologies of all sorts. And I thought, you know what? Percy Jackson is a wonderful starting point for that. On top of that, it had a really good message in the form of people that struggle with autism, dyslexia, issues like that. Hey, guess what? Here's an entire story that blatantly says that just because you struggle with this stuff doesn't mean you're not meant for something great. Doesn't mean that these are hindrances. These can actually be, you know, just things, and you can do amazing things even with them. I thought they had a very positive message. I thought they had a very good message and something that actually helped me out growing up as I went on in life. But I've also seen the 2 movies. They weren't good. They were hideous. They were horrific. And when I heard that they're starting a Disney Plus series for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I immediately said no. And you want to know what? I had a justifiable reason for that with this news story. Percy Jackson and the Olympians creator Rick Riordan says original books did not explore Medusa's character because the title hero lacked the bandwidth for deconstructing the patriarchy. The title hero, Percy, is a 12-year-old boy. And the entire thing was about Percy Jackson trying to save his mom. And Medusa, quite literally, was just a monster standing in their way at the time. She had no real character. She wasn't really there for anything more than to be basically a boss for you gamers, okay? She was basically just a mini boss level, you know, small boss level. You stumble upon her, you fight her, you move on. That was her whole story. But no, obviously we can't have that anymore. No, now we have to actually deconstruct everything and point to her whole story being patriarchal. And I know what you guys are going to say. Some of you guys are going to come in the comments section and say, listen, okay, her actual story, the actual myth is very patriarchal. Okay, because she was violated, S.A., by Poseidon, and then Athena turned her into a monster. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. Well, to all of you guys, I do have my buddy Hollywood Scholar actually pulled up over here. Hollywood Scholar, a good friend of mine, mega fan of Greek mythology, so much so that he actually hates the Percy Jackson series. I don't blame him, but you know what? Before we get into the entirety of this, he has this wonderful three little tweet portion that basically breaks down the entirety of Medusa's myth and why it doesn't make logical sense that it's patriarchal. All right, I'm tired of hearing Medusa was a misunderstood victim of the patriarchy. No, she was cursed by a woman, Athena, to be this Gorgon. Then she killed scores of men and needed to be taken out. A woman cursed a woman to be a monster. How does that make her a feminist icon? Doesn't make sense, but let's come on. Sure, Athena cursed her because she slept with Poseidon in Athena's temple, but she knew Athena wouldn't like that. And what's worse, having sex in your rival's temple or cursing a woman to be an immortal monster that kills anyone she encounters. Super feminist that. Now I get it. A lot of people are going to come out here and say, well, Poseidon forced himself upon her. Poseidon did all that. That doesn't actually add up. No, it doesn't. And on top of that, that's actually not the Greek myth, that's the Roman myth. Because a Hollywood scholar, again, mega Greek mythology fan, and also knows the difference between Greek and Roman mythology. And before you guys come out here and say, well, they're one and the same, the sequel series for Percy Jackson specifically delves into the Roman mythology and says there is a difference. Also, I'm aware the version listed above is from Ovid, a Roman, and the older Greek version have her as just a monster. I focus on Ovid because that's the one these people rap for the icon / victim argument, but no myths support their weird idea, and that's the bigger point. Yes, nothing here supports your idea. Nothing here asserts this. And there was never patriarchy involved, especially because Athena is in it. Okay, just because she slept with Poseidon doesn't mean it's patriarchy. But okay, let's get into this. In his latest attempt, we'll deconstruct the patriarchy. We got that. But, you know, here they end up giving just a simple rundown of what actually happened in the book, as seen in Riordan's initial telling. You stumbles upon her shop in order to, you know, get food, so on and so forth. Let's move on. I want to get into the crux of everything. But in the Disney Plus series, things play out a little differently. Therein, as seen as the series' third episode, we visit the Garden Gnome Emporium. The Gorgon makes her debut when she appears to offer the lead trio refuge from their ongoing pursuit by Hades' Furies. Reluctantly accepting her assistance, the trio then proceed to enjoy a brief lunch with their new host, during which she is able to pick up on Annabeth's palpable anger towards her as a result of both her dedicated alliance and love for her mother, Athena. Seeking to explain her side of the story, Medusa responds to the tension by recalling to the group, Athena was everything to me. I worshipped her. I prayed to her. I made offerings. She never answered, not even an omen to suggest she appreciated my love. Aw. I wasn't like you, sweetheart. She then specifically addresses of Annabeth and her love for Athena. I was you. I would have worshipped her that way for a lifetime in silence. But then one day, another god came and he broke that silence. Gesturing towards Percy, Medusa then asserts, your father, the sea god, told me that he loved me. I felt as though he saw me in a way I had never felt seen before. But then Athena declared that I had embarrassed her, and I needed to be punished. Not him, me. She decided that I would never be seen again by anyone who would live to tell the tale. Amidst constant protestations to her mother's innocence from Annabeth, Medusa then concludes the gods want to believe that they are infallible, but they only want what all bullies want. They want us to blame ourselves for their own shortcomings. It's so patriarchal. That doesn't make any logical sense either. Legitimately, it doesn't, because let's actually break down what she says here. She says that Poseidon showed up and made her feel seen for the first time ever, and then Athena got mad. Well, we go back over to what Jed said, that they had sexual relations within Athena's own temple. Yeah, that continues to be not patriarchal and continues down the path of it was literally Athena being mad at her. It was woman on woman crime. No man was ever involved. Wow, super patriarchy. Super patriarchy. As to why this particular change was made to Medusa's character, the series cast and crew would later elaborate on their reasoning during a post-episode premiere interview given to Variety's Solomon blah blah. I don't give a crap. According to Riordan's wife, Rebecca, who also serves as an executive producer on the Disney Plus series. The only reason Medusa is not more fleshed out in the books was that it was Percy's narrative and we don't have her perspective. We didn't need her perspective. We never required her perspective. You're right, it was Percy's perspective because it was Percy's journey through the entire series. Why do I need that perspective? Why do I need a monster's perspective in this regard? I wasn't required, wasn't necessary. Literally, even the movie basically breaks it down as, yeah, you come upon her, you murk her, you move on. That was it. Nothing else. There was no reason to be there. They just showed up there because they needed food, stumbled upon her, and that's it. Jumping off his wife's assertion, Riordan himself further claimed as a 12-year-old boy in 2005, I don't think he had the bandwidth for deconstructing the patriarchy. He was looking at it as, this is a scary woman who's trying to turn me into stone. That literally was what it was. It was a scary monster woman trying to turn him into stone. Where's the patriarchy in any of this? Why do we need this here? Oh, we don't need this here. They want to insert it here. They want to insert their own political agenda into this. This is why I started hating this series, by the way. This man here is the most soy of soy people I have ever seen, going so far as actually allowing people to him saying, you know what, Annabeth could gladly be changed into a little black girl, despite the fact that in his first book, he specifically calls her a California blonde chick. His first book says exactly how she's supposed to look. That's the difference here. Rick Riordan was very descriptive in every little thing he did, but now he's like, well, because of wokeness, we can change everything. Going so far as starting to put non-binary, transgenderism, all this stuff into his stories. Yeah, because he's out of ideas. He must have his own politics given to all the good little boys and girls of the world, by the way. Yeah, this is a man that writes YA novels. To this end, Rebecca noted, it was one of the first things we talked about, how to not have a patriarchal lens. These people are broken. These are broken people. And it was through this anti-patriarchal lens that, per the Disney Plus series, co-creator and co-showrunner John Steinberg explained the team decided to deviate from the original chain of events in order to touch upon the contemporary argument that, in the original myth, Medusa was not a willing lover to Poseidon, but rather a victim of SA at his oceanic hands. Well, that's the Roman myth, and there's no actual evidence to that. Again, if you know what she's talking about, you know what she's talking about, detailed Steinberg of Medusa's meeting with Percy and company. If you're too young to be in the conversation, it won't bother you. You're just in a scene about this woman who seems complicated, and everybody's got an opinion about what went down. There's no version that is the version. If Athena and Poseidon were in that room, you'd get 3 different versions of the story. Yeah. Because it's stupid, because Medusa didn't even need to be a character, and you didn't need to do any of this, and you didn't need to end up adding patriarchy because it's stupid. And coaching and echoing, I'm broken right now, his show-running partner's rhetoric, Riordan then asserted, there are many versions from ancient times of what happened in that temple with the Medusa and Poseidon and Athena. Who's to blame? Who's the abuser? What's the real story? It's fiction, but it certainly is important to acknowledge there is abuse involved here, abuse of power. Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the Greek mythology and everything. The gods were inherently flawed and very vain individuals. You wronged them in one little slight, they would come down on you with all the power of heaven. That was the whole point. They were myths, they were fake, they were everything. Yes, there was abuse of power, but they were gods. It was also tales to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, or the gods will get angry. This is what mythology, religions, what have you do. And I'm not saying all religions are mythologies, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. These are stories that help shape how you do things in this world. That's the whole point. You can say it's abuse of power, but guess what? At the end of the day, that was the point. The gods were all powerful and you were merely a human that wronged the gods and were punished. That's it. Because even in your own words, you say, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if the patriarchy story is true. There's all sorts of versions of this. So, well, yeah. You freaking soy. One of the most interesting changes that informed the way she looks is that in Medusa's point of view, the real curse wasn't making her ugly. It was making her invisible. He continued, she has chosen in this version to own that, to be seen, to be elegant. She turns people into stone and uses that as art. She's still killing everybody, by the way. All those people are dead, so she can be elegant. She can be chosen to be seen and everything. She's still going around murking people. I don't see this as a feminist icon. I see this as a psychopath. She has been physically changed, Rebecca added. She's accepted herself the way she is and the power that she has, but she's always been traumatized. That's why I'm going around murking these people and turning them literally into art. So much so. And listen, Rick Riordan and this whole group of people are broken individuals that have to live off their own basically politics, because without it they have nothing. And it goes so far as we'll just come down here. You know what? I'll skip what they continue doing because it's more the same gobbledygook. Kennedy also explained that her performance was inspired by artist Lucchino Gabertiti's, I'm probably butchering this, 2008 statue. By the way, Kennedy is the actual individual that played Medusa in this episode. Yes, her. His 2008 statue, Medusa with the head of Perseus. A piece which inverts the image seen in I'm going to butcher this, Benedetto Cellini's 1545 Perseus with the head of Medusa, and in recent years was used as an icon for #MeToo movement. Yeah. They have to have their ideology given out so much that in a YA series, a series about a young boy going to basically Hades to save his mother from Hades and discover who the heck stole the lightning bolt and getting it back to frickin' Zeus, an actual hero's journey, we must stop everything to give you a feminist diatribe and establish the patriarchy was wrong and Medusa's a victim, so much so that we're gonna insert an actual Me Too icon into the episode. These are broken people. This is a show for kids, by the way. This is how far they're willing to go, how far they have fallen. But guess what? I don't care anymore. I'm not watching this garbage. You couldn't pay me enough to watch this garbage. I get it. I should probably be watching and reviewing it. But guess what? I loved this series as a kid. I read it over and over again. You can't get me to watch something I care about being butchered this much. Okay, it's gone. It's dead. I got the books right here. I'm fine. Doctor Who's on the way, and so is Fallout. I could survive off them. I don't need all this, but let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it out, friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.